achieved.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Studio Day Hefre, where it is video number 2 for the day because I get to share your Cowboy news of the day. We have another Randy Gregory update to get you, but first, I talk about this article by Bill Barnwell in ESPN every year leading up to when it is actually released. But now, because the formula is not that hard, it's something that you know who's going to be in it when it does come out, but it's officially out now, so it's worth mentioning again. Dallas Cowboys are a contender this year, and Bill Barnwell is picking them to be the most improved team in the NFL. His reasoning for it is very simple, and it's the old Pythagorean expectation. Last year, the Cowboys were 8-8. That works out to, with their point differential of plus 113 on the season, it works out to expecting them to win almost 11 games. They didn't. Why didn't they? Well, that's easy. Their record in close games was 0-5. Games that were decided by 7 points or fewer, the Dallas Cowboys were 0-5 last year. So, does that mean? Because I know that to a lot of people it'll be, well, of course they were bad in close games. Their head coach was an idiot, and the quarterback wasn't good enough, and the defense was bad. But the problem with that, and why Bill Barnwell does this article every year, is because it's just not true, right? There's an element of luck to this, because if we're to believe that Jason Garrett's just a terrible coach and that's why you can't win close games, or the quarterback's not good enough to win close games, then why would they have been 0-5 last year in those games, yet in 2019 they were 8-3 in those games? I'm sorry, 8-2 in those games. So you went from 8-2 in close games to 0-5 in close games, and therefore you went 8-8. The Cowboys were actually a team that he did pick to regress going into last year because of their 8-2 record in close games, which is hard to carry over from year to year. It doesn't happen. Generally, flip that coin. That's how you're going to decide who wins a close game, who breaks a tackle and scores, who drops a football, who makes a kick. There are very few outliers when it comes to the close game thing. Like, the Patriots are generally better than most, but almost nobody survives. It is a matter of, yes, there's some luck in football. It's a weird shaped ball. You don't know what's going to happen if a game ends up being close. So now Barnwell is looking at the Cowboys and he says, well, they were actually a better team last year than they were in 2018 when you go by the nerd numbers, of course. The DVOA and all those dealy boppers. The ESPN Football Power Index, which is a nerd thing. They actually finished there ahead of the two teams that lost in the conference championship game. So everything about the Cowboy team last year should have led to more wins, and it didn't. So this year, he expects them to win more games. They, where is the other thing I wanted to mention? On a snap-by-snap basis, they were better than they were in 2018 and 2019, yet they got 2 games worse. That's just weird. So last year, better offense, virtually the same core of talent. Their late-game heroics just didn't show up. Laid an egg against the Jets. After scoring 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to get it within 2 points, they failed on the 2-point conversion. Down 4 points against the Vikings. Dak went 6 of 7 for 79 yards to put the Cowboys in the red zone with under 2 minutes to go. And on 2nd and 2 from the 11, they handed the ball to Zeke 2 times and saw him lose a total of 3 yards. Offensive line can be blamed for that, but you see what I'm saying? Quarterback was balling, and they were like, let's give it to the running back a couple of times. So yes, the Cowboys are the team that is being picked by everybody to be improved, and it's because this thing that sounds so simple to just say, well, what was their plus minus last year, and what should that have added up to? It sounds too simple to be true, except let me see if I can get Barnwell's history of doing this article. Here we go. Over the past 3 years, he's picked 16 teams that were likely to improve the following year. 12 of them have done so, with the average team leaping by more than 3 wins. 10 of the 16 went over their preseason over-under win total. On the teams he's predicted a decline, they've gone 26-6 in predicting the win-loss direction. So that's pretty consistently saying 75% of the time or more, he's going to be right on this. So the Cowboys, they're going to be a contending team, and that's just the way it is. So get ready for it, you know? Here's the graphic that I forgot to put up earlier to talk about it. Point differential, expectation, record in close games. Predicted strength of schedule is going to be the 12th easiest in the league. So that's your Cowboys from today's ESPN Bill Barnwell article, where he gets it right over 75% of the time, and the Cowboys are the one that he is picking with the most confidence to be improved from their 8-8 record a year ago. So get ready for it, boys and girls. You got yourselves a real-life contender on your hands. Tell me if you're buying it in the comments. Also, leave in the comments what you want to talk about tomorrow in the video. You know, I try to take care of you. Shout out to my Tinas, my 18%, who have the notifications turned on and don't miss a video, youtube.com/Jeff Cavanaugh. Now, I also told you that we would hit your Randy Gregory update. Randy Gregory update looks like as follows. That's a weird comment to make. But this is from Randy Gregory 20 hours ago. He's been asking his rep for the NFLPA for correspondence regarding his case for reinstatement. And his response is he blocked Randy Gregory on Twitter. Now, is there likely more to it than that? I would imagine. I couldn't imagine your rep for the NFLPA is just blocking you on Twitter for being like, hey, can I get an update on what you guys are doing for me? But regardless, that's ridiculous. So, as I said before, I would imagine Randy Gregory is going to have to go outside of the normal lines of how the NFL handles their punishment to try to get back on the field. I would imagine this is something that he's going to have to get into a courtroom and ask for some sort of injunction or a block on the NFL from having him suspended. I think that is the only way that he's going to end up back on the field, at least with the way that it's going now, with not hearing anything from Roger Goodell, with him upset with the NFLPA saying that they are not handling his business for him. And then here's his follow-up. He said, I understand what I've done to damage my career. I've taken responsibility. I'm not asking for any sympathy, but I'll be damned if I let people claim they're supporting me but actively trying to prevent my progress, football, career, or not. And then a little snake emoji. And then he tagged the guy that has him blocked. If you tag a guy who has you blocked, he won't see it, Randy. But, yeah, that is just a weird deal. I don't get it. There's probably more to the story that we aren't familiar with, but get ready to see the story about something going on in court, because that just does not seem very normal, that the NFLPA doesn't seem to be really busting their ass to try to help you out. Justin Quarles said Randy Gregory's going at it with his NFLPA rep. It's on Randy Gregory's Twitter. NFLPA is failing him. Yes, sir. That's what that was just about. Jonathan Lindsay, he says, hey, Jeff, I'm an 18%er. I smash the like button every time. Creamy, blackberry, and San Diego. What did I ask in that video? Oh, peanut butter, crunchy or creamy. What's the blackberry? Did I ask your favorite fruit and then vacation destination? What's your prediction for our record this year? I said 12-4 with their schedule, maybe 11-5, but I'm sticking with 12-4. They could absolutely win 12 games. The team has the talent to win 12 games. I'm going to just pick a safer number to make myself feel less likely to be a dummy. I'm going to pick them to win 10. I'll say 10-6 and win the division. I think it's totally possible they win 11 or 12. The likelihood of wins, I would go 10. And then if you said, all right, they're not going to win 10, how many are they going to win? I would say 11. And if you said they're not going to win 11, how many are they going to win? I would go 9, then 12. That would be my order. But I'll pick 10-6 while secretly thinking it's more like 11-5, but I'm just picking 10-6 so that I'm not disappointed if it goes worse. And let me see here. Ronce Rayhan says, favorite vacation spot's Dallas. I'm from Jersey. Creamy peanut butter, grape jelly. Oh, maybe that was the flavor thing, was what flavor of jelly. Almost 18%er, and you're by far my favorite Cowboys analyst. Thank you. My question, now that I've buttered you up, I'm shocked the Cowboys didn't cave and just settle for a 4-year deal with Dak, since the route they're taking will cost them more in the short term and possibly the long term as well. Assuming the cost becomes too much next offseason again, can you lay out a scenario where we land either of the trifecta QBs? Trevor Lawrence, Clemson, Justin Fields, Ohio State, Trey Lance, North Dakota State, whether it's a collapse, trade up, player for picks, or tag and trade with Dak. Sure. And this is fantasy land, but in fantasy land, if you're trying to land one of those three quarterbacks, the way that it happens, it won't involve a collapse because this team is too good to collapse. There's zero chance that this team is going to win 5 games or less, right? Even with let's say a quarterback injury, they're still not going to go 5-11. I think they would still go 7-9 at worst. So you won't have that sort of draft pick potential on its own. So the way that happens is you'd still have to clear the space to be able to tag Dak, and then you would find a place he's willing to be that is willing to pay him what he wants. You would trade Dak. In this situation, it would probably be a team with a mid to late first-round pick, and you would take a couple of their first-round picks. And now you've got a couple of their picks plus your pick plus maybe future picks, and that's how you go up and get one of those three guys, assuming that it's not three QB-needy teams at the top of the draft, which it probably won't be, because right now in the NFL, there's not a ton of teams that need QBs, but there are some of them. Yes. 17%er Mike, you got to change that name to 18%er Mike. You've gone over what you see individuals doing over the season. What would you consider a success, all things Rona removed, for the team as a whole? Are we Super Bowl or bust? Or are we happy to make the playoffs? My general line of thinking is if you get in the tournament, cool, let's see what happens, because the team that wins the Super Bowl isn't always the best team in football all year. Like last year, the best team in football was the Ravens. They didn't win, because what determines the Super Bowl champ is who's the best team in football for the 4-week run once you're in the postseason. So generally, I consider that a success. But for the Cowboys, I think conference title game or bust. And the question is, what does bust mean? Does it mean that the team is starting to move on from the quarterback? They're not going to fire the head coach after 1 year. But I think the expectation is NFC title game or bust for me. By the way, shout out to Luka. God, Luka. The other night, I believe he's the only person in NBA history to put up the stat line that he just did. What was it, 36, 19, and 14 or something stupid like that? Luka's a monster. Luka's a monster. And good luck to the Stars, who are going to start the playoffs tomorrow as the 3 seed in the West. And shout out to the Rangers sweeping the A's. And shout out, not the A's, the Angels. And shout out to the A's sweeping the Astros. And to the Astros, coward of a hitting coach baiting a active player and telling him to come on and do something. And then getting behind a wall of players when the dude said, yeah, we can get down. I sports hate the Astros so much. There's just so much arrogance in that organization and so many bad people in that organization. And there's a level of cockiness and arrogance and defiance from a bunch of freaking cheaters that really haven't owned it, and MLB won't let other people remind them of what they've done. Oh, I sports hate you, Astros. Who do you sports hate the most? Leave that in the comments along with what you want to talk about tomorrow. Please mash the thumbs up button. Let me know you like what's happening. YouTube.com/Jeff Cavanaugh. And I will see you guys on the radio in just a little bit. I love you. Bye.